Geordie journos. We're back as a three. It's getting rarer and rarer, this, isn't it? That all three of us are actually on a video. I don't know. Have we just been taking the time off after the cup final and enjoying ourselves? Because we haven't done a lot of videos, have we?
No, me and Jordan were saying yesterday, we haven't put our feet up by any means. I mean,
No.
We had a little trip to Prague, which was nice.
We did. It was enjoyable.
But other than that, it's been sort of backs to the wall,
Graft,
hard work and
the day job.
Check out Newcastle World and Shields Gazette for all of our content.
The best Newcastle United content, video, written, opinion, and otherwise.
But yeah, back here on Geordie Journos, it's nice to have that back at St James's Park because it's been a while. It's been a month since we were back here last year at St James's Park, and Newcastle fortunately back to winning ways here at home, where the form has been a little bit iffy, and 3 wins in a row now, all competitions. The Carabao Cup hangover avoided, and Newcastle up to 5th in the table, 2-1 win against Brentford.
Look, let's not beat around the bush here. It wasn't great, it wasn't pretty, but that to me is a game that Newcastle United have lost this season against sort of middling, decent-ish Premier League sides at home. It felt like a potential banana skin. Were they going to carry a little bit of a hangover? Were they going to ride the crest of a wave? They did neither, really. They just put in a bit of a 6 out of 10 performance is the way I thought about it. And look, I'll take that all day. I think between now and the end of the season, the 9 games left, it's just points. Performances are irrelevant now. Newcastle United have climbed the Mount Everest. They went to Wembley and climbed what seemed the impossible peak. And now the rest of the performances are irrelevant. They could absolutely stink the place out. And as long as they win 5 or 6 of the last games, they'll finish in the Champions League places. Are they consistent enough? Or are they not? I think that's probably the biggest thing. You mentioned 3 wins in a row. They're not scoring many goals this season. Let's be brutally honest. I said that to you on the phone this morning, didn't I? And I think almost the unseen thing that people aren't going on. Newcastle aren't really scoring a lot of goals this season. And again, it was another one of those today where on another day they might have got 3 or 4, but they were very wasteful when they got into forward positions. Yeah. But I think, look, I'll take that. I think a win is a win, and a win is what mattered today. It was a bit flat. I think the whole place felt a little bit flat.
Yeah,
I
thought there was one instance in the first half, or maybe it was somewhere during the game where the crowd really got behind the team. It was very loud Eddie Howe Black and White Army.
Yeah, it did. No, I wasn't. That wasn't. I was meaning the players.
Oh, the players.
Yeah,
no,
I just thought it was quite flat.
I thought they looked all low on energy.
Tired.
Yeah.
Not all of them. I thought Isak looked tired.
Yeah.
I thought there was a few others maybe looked a bit weary in the leg. Bruno possibly had his worst game of the season, I thought, today. I thought he was very sloppy with the ball, and I'm his biggest fan.
I think to give Bruno some credit, I think once Newcastle took the lead, Bruno went into like his autopilot, see the game out mode.
Towards the end, he did.
Yes, he was good at that, so I gave him credit for that. But yeah, technically is what is usually such a strength of his game. There was probably slight shortcomings in
the
that.
3 T's for me. The 3 T's stood out.
Yes.
Tonali, Trippier, and Tino. They were the boys for me today.
Yes.
You like that, do you?
When did you think of that? That's really
Just
good.
now.
That's really good. 3 T's.
I do this for a job, you know.
3 T's, I like that.
Yeah. I thought Livramento, you make the point. I'm not going to steal your thunder. Talk about Tino Livramento as a left back.
Yeah, no, it's quite amusing because with Lewis Hall, Newcastle have got the best left back, or one of the best left backs in the Premier League. For the purposes of obviously the best left back.
Go on.
And then they've also got the best makeshift left back in the Premier League, and Tino Livramento. And from the games I've seen Tino Livramento play for Newcastle United, he's a better left back than he is right back. Or certainly his best games for Newcastle United have been at left back. And Tommy asked the question to Eddie, how about the opponents he's came up against in the last 3 games? Yeah. All very, very good opponents.
Excellent.
And Tino Livramento's came out on top.
I think the last 2 games Livramento's been outstanding.
Yeah, I think he set the tone with his energy both games, where Newcastle maybe you can start on the back foot or threaten to start on the back foot. Tino has set the energy levels, bombing up and down the left wing. He did it against Liverpool. I thought he was the early sort of pace setter in that game, and I think he did the same again tonight. He did fade a little bit when Newcastle faded as a team, but came strong at the end again. I thought he linked up well with Harvey Barnes, something Eddie Howe acknowledged as well. And yeah, I think when he's up against inverted wingers, sometimes maybe it helps to have a right-footed player to And he's very athletic as well.
I think he hits space. He hits spaces that are almost difficult to pick as midfielders and forwards and defenders. He just runs into spaces. To be honest, he's been going on the outside a lot. He put a lovely ball in early doors. Chipped ball.
First 90 seconds.
Chip ball with his left foot, like he did in the bit like he did in the final as well.
Yeah.
And what about that one? Honestly, that first goal, right? Let's be brutally honest. People might go, "Oh, it's negative Liam again. Oh, it's negative Liam." Look, Isak and Murphy stunk the place out in the first half by their standards, not mine. And still, and this is what good players do. Yes. Still, assist, goal.
Yeah.
What more can you ask? Honestly, I've said it before. Jacob Murphy could find Alexander Isak in a maze. He literally could. He just somehow, like I said about that header in the final, the last goal Newcastle scored, the first one they scored today, it's Murphy to Isak. It's been the tale of the season very much for Isak. I would love to know how many assists you might know. You're the stat man. Put you on the spot. So
there's been 10 assists for Murphy now for the season, I reckon.
9 for Isak. Probably something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's incredible the link up they've had. There can't be many in the Premier League really who've had that kind of link up between two players. So long may it continue. But wow, they were not great in that first half. I'm worried about Isak. What did he say after the game?
Yeah, he said feeling his groin. That's why he came off midway through the second half. And we said he looks like a player who was tiring. He was struggling, and then went off. And yeah, the way Eddie Howe was talking, it sounded like Newcastle had a few. Kieran Trippier also went off as well. Joe Linton went down holding his knee.
So he stayed on the pitch. He was injured for quite some time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Looked like they strapped him up to play as well.
Yeah, really heavy shock on him.
So Eddie Howe did address that there are a few concerns. He said, hopefully, this isn't in the press conference, I think he told one of the broadcasters, hopefully nothing to concern us for the next game, but you never know.
I think going back to the 3 T's idea, I don't want to talk about one and not the other two because Tonali's the main man today. I thought he was outstanding. And we can't do this video without talking about the did he or didn't he moment that just left. I felt like 50,000 people gobsmacked by what literally happened.
Out of nowhere as well. Because I thought at that time as well, Brentford looked the most likely to actually go on and win it. And all of a sudden, Tonali produces a cross-come shot.
A what? Anyway, Trippier.
I just had to get it in there before we start talking.
Trippier, for me, rolled back the clock before I got to Tonali's goal. Trippier, I thought his one-on-one defending, you picked it out. I thought it was a proper roll back the clock's performance.
Yeah. Didn't give that shot
a proper danger man for them, He's so quick, he's big, he's got everything about him, he's in form, he's been their best player this season. Apart from Mbeumo's goals, of course, but and Vissa's goals as well. He was very quiet today, by the way. He's been excellent this season. So no, I thought that Trippier just dealt with him, pocketed him. I thought it was a very good performance. That shot, I went looking different parts. He was dropping onto the right instead to get his moments in the game. I thought was outstanding. But Tonali, for as poor as Bruno was, Joe Linton probably wasn't as involved as he has been in recent weeks, I would say. Tonali stood head and shoulders in that midfield above everybody. He hoovered things up and stopped attacks at one end and was part of attacks at the other end, getting forward, bombing on down the right hand side at will at times. And did he mean it? My opinion, I'm loath to criticise a bloke or loath to suggest there was no intention when I know how much of a technician he is. Like, he's an outstanding striker of a ball. And I just can't imagine who the hell he was crossing to.
No.
Hitting it like that.
If it's a cross, it's a terrible cross.
Yes.
To put that much sort of venom on it.
If I had to put my life on it, I'd say it was probably a cross.
Well,
but I don't want to take it.
Have you read Tonali's explanation?
No, tell us what he said.
It just adds even more confusion. So apparently it was a 70% cross and a 30% shot.
He then told Sky that it was a cross.
Oh, did he?
But then Eddie Howe says...
A cross into the top corner, man.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
But then Eddie Howe described it as a wonderful goal. Take nothing away from Sandro Tonali.
Oh, well done, Eddie. Yeah, just give it to him, man. You've got to give it to him. What do you think it was? Did you think it was a cross? I think when you see it, obviously. I don't mean analysing what he said. When you watch it, what did you think?
Seeing it live, I thought it was a shot. Watching the replay, I thought, maybe not. But there's just so much power. He's struck it like a shot, but the position on the pitch is very much a cross.
That was just one of those moments.
It was just strange.
Yeah, it
bizarre.
was just odd. And it was brilliant, and I loved it. It was befitting of winning a game that wasn't a great game. Brentford were always in it. Newcastle were a bit wasteful, but look, at the end of the day, it was the 3 points that mattered, and they went and did it. I think that, like I said, they climbed their Everest a week and a half ago. To then go again was going to be the biggest challenge. How do Newcastle United go again? Because if they can get Champions League football, because they put themselves in such a good PSR position, it really unlocks doors. Look, it unlocks doors to a whole host of things. It probably unlocks doors to a lovely new Isak contract that might well then have a clause in it, and then suddenly becomes a conversation starter again, like we had with Bruno Guimaraes. But look, he needs one. He needs rewarded for what he is, and it'll be no surprise if any of that came to pass anyway. But I think the Champions League makes it easier because you can probably do the contract and have the transformative type summer that the squad needs. So look, it still needs it. It's like you can try and glaze over things as much as we like to, and the positivity, and like I say, we've won something, so it's remarkable. But it still needs first team quality added.
Yeah, and
to be the team that everybody wants this team to be, and some of those players in that team, your Tonalis, Isaks, Brunos, and others, are capable of competing for titles at the top of the division. They just need other players to go with them.
Yeah, and that point was probably highlighted today, where if for the next couple of games, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if you were without an Isak, a Joe Linton, a Kieran Trippier, 3 players who are injury concerns, the team starts to look a lot less threatening.
Looks a lot less Champions League, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The squad stood still for
Anthony
2
Gordon
years.
comes back in, doesn't he? That'll be the thing.
Yeah,
Actually,
he's
the more I'm
back,
thinking about
but
it, I reckon if Isak's not right on Monday and Gordon's all right, you'll just bring Gordon in.
So is Gordon above the pecking order as a striker?
Then
Wilson will
Wilson.
start.
Do you reckon?
Start Wilson, 100%.
I think Gordon starts. We're having this debate in the live. Anybody who didn't see the live, check out the live. It was really enlightening. A lot of talk of mermaids and bizarre things like that. But
Yeah, you've given us that dilemma. Do you want to put it to the people that didn't watch the live?
no, I think you should go to the live. Go to the live and check out the mermaid dilemma. It's a really bizarre one, but it just got silly. And I love it. That's what the lives are for. If you like silly chatter, get involved. I think this is a good moment before we go on a little bit to get the sponsors.
Yes.
Got some amazing sponsors at George Journals, and here they are.
Comply IT Limited. Worrying about disposing of your old IT equipment? Don't be. Comply IT handle everything. Secure collection, detailed tracking, and certified data destruction. That's Comply IT Limited. We've also got Mitigate. Mitigate enhances workplace mental health, helping businesses stay compliant, reduce absences, and unlock higher productivity, creating healthier, happier teams. And of course, our OG sponsors, Four Rivers Financial Planning. Four Rivers Financial Planning offer holistic financial advice for all stages of life, ensuring your plan remains robust and adaptable in the ever-changing world we live in.
Right, we're back. That was our sponsors. If you need any of the details, do check down here. As we always say from the very start, like, comment, share, subscribe, click the bell, ding, 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 if you want the Geordie Journals content straight to the device that you watch this on. Right, what next for Newcastle United? 9 games to go, game in hand on a lot of teams around them. They're well placed. They're in the driving seat. Obviously, injuries aside, things are looking rather bright. Charlie Bennett for Newcastle World, friend of the channel. I think he is.
Yeah, of course he is.
He suggested, and I thought it was an interesting opinion piece of Newcastle World, that this would be Newcastle United's best season since they won the league in 1927.
He's already wrote that.
I've just said that.
I thought you said he was
going to
write
on Newcastle World.
Right, okay, sorry. I'm not listening.
Stick with it. You never do. What do you think, Dom? Because obviously we've seen it. It's a mad one to think. I had a little look, and they did finish quite high in one of the years they won the FA Cup. And I would suggest, I think that was probably slightly better. But
I don't know. I was saying to Jordan before the start of the game today, I think football these days is probably framed slightly differently. Yeah, Champions League football is a much bigger carrot, if you know what I mean, financially. Yeah. So I'd say to get Champions League football and to end a 70-year domestic trophy drought, just in the way football has progressed since then is a bigger season, but it's apples and oranges a little bit.
Yeah, you have to sort of delve. Where did they finish in the league when they won the cup in '69?
Well, no, not that one. That was mid-table. A couple of the FA Cup ones, I can't remember. Apologies for this, everybody. But I think they finished 4th or 5th in one of the years they won the FA Cup.
Right.
I think one of those 50. It wasn't the last one. I don't think it was one. It was one of them. They did finish 4th or 5th that year. So that to me would probably be.
But they didn't have that reward of actual.
It didn't. The Champions League, the European Cup didn't come in till I think 3 years after Newcastle last won the FA Cup, late 50s.
They came 4th in 51.
4th in 51, yeah. So won the FA Cup, finished 4th. That would have been Champions League back then.
Yeah, in a way.
in the modern game.
The modern Champions League. Yeah.
Wonder who they would have played. Partizan Belgrade in the final last night.
Would have been beat.
Some bad teams done really well in the European Cup in those days. But that's a debate for another day. That was when it was the real European Cup.
Didn't exist, man.
No, I know after that. Right. Where have we got to go?
I just think any year you win a trophy and get Europe, probably by default, as an outstanding season. And I mean, 1927 in the league, whatever. I would just say by default it probably is. I'm just based off recent memory because I haven't checked out.
Were they good in 1927?
I tell you what, that is.
Had some team.
Did have some team? Legends, as you would say.
You would have.
We're getting silly. It always gets silly, and that's what you love about it. Right.
We're just happy, man. It's been like I rocked up at St James's Park today and I felt the Carabao Cup hangover.
You were flat.
I felt it.
Yeah. You're not now though.
No, I'm ready now for the final 9 games of the season. I want Leicester tomorrow. I want to be in the King Power State tomorrow, and I want to get this season finished. And I want to see Newcastle get in the Champions League, and I sense a determination for them to go and do it. I think it depends. I think it depends on injuries. I think if they can keep the squad together now and keep them fit, I think they've got an excellent chance. They're in the driving seat. But
so let's draw the line. 5's Champions League. Did Newcastle United finish in the top 5 this season, Dom? Nail your colours to the mast.
I think they finish 5th. I don't think they're finishing any higher than that. I think the current top 4 will be the top 4. Nottingham Forest, probably no catching them. I think they've won too many games, too few games left to play.
Don't drop points.
Man City, although they're very tight with Newcastle, it's just the Man City factor. They always end seasons strong. The fact they're even in and around Newcastle feels like bizarre to me anyway.
So you're pointing it?
Yes.
Newcastle got a game in hand?
Yes.
They could go ahead.
They actually have advantage if you look on the sort of points per game situation.
But in 9 games, you'd think you would probably back Man City to put more points in Newcastle United as well, I would think. So I agree with you.
I think 5th. I think Chelsea are the one where they're still Conference League as well, so they have the extra games. So I think that's who they're battling with, and Villa just below them as well.
Villa are
it's one of those 3 teams. I think Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa will get the 5th place spot, and why not Newcastle?
Villa fighting on too many fronts would be my only concern with them. They've got a better squad than a lot of teams they have, but I just wonder.
Strengthening in January has really helped them.
Does the focus?
Roll of the dice.
It really has. Yeah, it's a big financial roll of the dice.
Yes.
Incredibly bad deals on the books for what they've done, but it
Galvanised
might be just enough to keep them back in the Champions League, and it would have been the best roll of the dice ever. Right, Jordan, name your colours to Arsenal. Nail.
I think based on what I've seen this season, and I still think Newcastle lack consistency. I think even as much as tonight was a great win, it was still that game that could have gone either way, and they've had a lot of those this season. Apart from that run when they won 6 in a row after getting beat at Brentford last time. So based on the current evidence, I think they would just miss out on the top 5. But I think the cup win could galvanise them. So I'm going to say I think they'll just miss out, but I want to caveat the fact that I think the cup win can do something for them. So I'll go 6.
I'm going 6th as well, actually. But I think
it'll be very tight.
It is. I think it'll be very tight. I want to believe they can do it, but and I hope this is another kick. Like I say, right, we went and climbed Everest, then we've done it again. Let's get the ball rolling. That's what happened when they finished last time. When the ball started rolling, it wasn't always impressive. Then they would go to somewhere like Leicester and they'd win 4-1, or the ball starts rolling. If they do go to Leicester and get 3-0 or something on Monday night, I'll be talking differently. I'll be going, actually, if I'm another team, I'm looking at Newcastle going, I'm worried about them. They're the team that's going to claim it. So, and they've got good fixtures. The next few, they've got a good April. The last few games aren't going to be easy.
Yeah,
They've got a
That's
good
it,
run.
innit?
They've got a good run, so I think they have to get lots of points on the board over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Got to win at Leicester. Everybody wins at Leicester. You don't win at Leicester, then it's a disaster really if you want to get in the Champions League, because
That's your gimme.
it says give me 3 points. Then you've got the likes of Crystal Palace, who are a good team this season, but you want to beat them on your own patch. Tough. Newcastle have tough
Always
games
a
against
shocker,
them. Man United here, Newcastle have got their number, and I would fancy Newcastle to beat Man United here.
Most of the Premier League have Man U's number.
Aston Villa away. Aston Villa. I'm trying to go through it, but I might have got the order wrong.
Villa's
Villa away.
a strange one.
That Villa's
However,
won last year.
They did, and they're probably, you don't always win a Villa, they're probably due a defeat down there if you're looking at the law of averages.
Yeah.
However, the next game's Wembley, and we know what that can do. We all know from Newcastle's experience what the idea of a Wembley final can do to performances in the run-up. So it's the players, are they 100%? Are they going to be pulling out? Plus with that Villa squad, somebody knows if they let it go a little bit, there'll be somebody to take their places. You know, it's one of those that, I don't know when they've got they've got the PSG game 4 or 5 days before they play Newcastle United. And we know how that went for Liverpool. So I think Villa is a very winnable game. And there's a few, I can't remember, have I went through them all? I might be them all. Ipswich here.
Good result for them tonight.
It's another, I know, but it's another gimme. Total gimme. You've got to win that game.
Yeah.
And if Newcastle United pick up points in all of those games, I would think the Champions League would be nailed on.
By the time they're playing the likes of Chelsea.
By the time you get Chelsea here, which again is, Newcastle have beat Chelsea here quite a lot. You know, in recent years, they've got a good record here against them. I beat them in already here this season. Arsenal away, I don't like the sound of that one.
I just think Arsenal will be playing for nothing because the Premier
might
League will
be.
be wrapped up.
Yeah, there might be, and it might come
But they might want some revenge as well.
But they also, they battered were there last year.
They did,
And I think having Newcastle won the games that mattered against them, I do wonder if Arsenal might, like you say, exact a little bit of revenge. Everton's probably not as easy a game as it looked earlier this season.
I think last games of the season are always
a
bit of a up in the air situation, can be anything really.
But Chelsea's got a tough run in, so that'll be one thing that'll be a little bit, and he's not been the best at seeing seasons out as a manager, Enzo Maresca.
But Maresca at Leicester, obviously Chelsea had a flying start of the season, have tailed off massively, but then when he was at Leicester last year, they came strong at the end of the season, so they might do that again.
When did they play?
Chelsea.
Tomorrow night, Thursday night.
So they could Newcastle could drop back down to 6th if Chelsea.
Is that at Tottenham? Don't know.
Tottenham can't be anyone there, so
it doesn't matter where it is. Doesn't matter where it is, does it? Right, I think we've done enough. 22 minutes is more than enough waffle from the Geordie journals, and we are literally going to get kicked out of St James's Park. Strict new rules here at St James's Park. Geordie journals out by 11:30 on the night of a match. What a shame.
I know.
You know what? It's given us some time back in our lives. We need it.
Yeah.
We'll end up just sitting here for ages anyway, working. So it gives us a little bit of time back. Thank you, Newcastle United.
Classy gesture.
It is. And I said that to them. Look, I think the access that we've had over the last few weeks has been incredible.
Yeah.
The things that you guys have been able to experience, I've been able to experience. I've been in the game a lot longer than you guys, but I've never experienced the things we've had in the last few months. It's been really accommodating and wonderful. So not only for giving me half an hour of our lives back in Newcastle United, I thank you for the last few weeks as well. From all of the Geordie journals, I think. And absolutely. The rest of the Shields Gazette wider team and Newcastle World wider team. Right. It is good night from St James's Park. 3 more points on the board. Champions League, here we come. We think, we hope. Good night from the Geordie journals.